We are talking Bronny and Braun with OK Dubs as we look forward to the 2024 NBA Draft later in June, and of course the entire offseason ahead this summer in the association. Kev, are you ready? Are you excited?
I mean, listen, you're talking about the face of the NBA and the face of the NBA draft, and luckily I'm here to step up and carry the torch because in a there's a lot of bad takes out there. I mean, a lot of bad takes. I mean, a lot of terrible, awful, horrendous takes out there.
Terrible
NBA
takes
draft
for terrible
deadline.
basketball players. Tough scene.
And so it begins.
Is this a Tobias Harris segment? Oh, I didn't realize.
Actually, see, he might agree with you on that, though.
I know he will. Guy's terrible.
Donnie, Tobias Harris plays for the Sixers. All right, NBA draft deadline day yesterday around the association and college hoops, and it was confirmed what we expected. Bronny James foregoing the remainder of his college eligibility and will remain in the 2024 NBA draft. So, Kev, what do you think the outlook is? What are the prospects for Bronny James in terms of this draft that is just less than 4 weeks away?
Well, look, first of all, the decision, the obvious correct decision made by Bronny James. Again, most people commenting on this have no idea what they're talking about. Bronny is doing something that a bunch of other kids have done before him. Some are doing in this class. And that's taking their chance to be drafted off of their high school pedigree, where Bronny was a top 25 player, McDonald's All-American, who was climbing up big boards. I know people pretend this didn't happen, but it did. Mock drafts before the college basketball season, really before Bronny's cardiac arrest, which again often doesn't seem to ever be discussed, but nevertheless had Bronny as a potential lottery selection. Now, Bronny obviously didn't have a good year at USC. Nobody did. Their head coach left that program to coach basketball at SMU. You go figure that out and what that says about that program. But for Bronny, the idea that him going back to school and playing at Duquesne would be better for his NBA draft prospects is one of the most ridiculous ideas I've ever heard. Name literally any player in the A10. Is that where Duquesne plays? Who could possibly think that that would be better for Bronny getting drafted than going off of the hype that still surrounds him from when he was in high school? So the decision made here right off the bat, the correct one, as I've been saying, for Bronny James.
And I do agree with that notion because this is a historically bad draft. Like Ben and I were joking earlier, like these guys going back to college with legitimate resumes, I don't know what they're waiting for at this point. If there's ever one draft to put your name in, it is this draft at this point. Now also, I don't know how good LeBron James' son is going to be in the NBA. We'll find out. But the fact of the matter is people are getting upset, and here's where I come to the defense of Bronny James. Outside of the lottery, not even the NBA teams care about those picks whatsoever. They trade them back and forth. Hey, you want 6 second-round picks? Go ahead and take it. So the fact that if somebody takes Bronny James early second or late first, it really has no bearing on that basketball team because typically we don't hear about those players after a couple of years in the NBA anyway. So whether or not he's a good basketball player when he gets drafted is irrelevant to me. Now, granted, he's not going to get drafted top 3, top 5, and top 10 where those impact players will be. But Bronny James making an NBA roster just based on this scenario, I can see it. But let me ask you this, Kevin. Do we agree with Bronny James turning down all of those, hey, look, let's get a look-see in practice? No. Just Phoenix and just L.A. And by the way, if any other team thinks of drafting me in the second round, it's not a two-way contract. It's a one-way. I'm going to be an NBA player. What are the thoughts on that?
So I think it's super fascinating. Again, I think it feeds all the wrong people with all the wrong takes. Oh, Bronny thinks he's too good for these teams. Bronny has been very upfront that he just wants to play in the NBA. And if Bronny was going to be given his chances from the Knicks, the Sixers, the Jazz, turning those down is an insane risk. And a risk that Bronny, I don't think, would be wanting to, nor Rich Paul, whose job is to make sure that Bronny is drafted. So that says to me, Bronny has a promise. We know those exist during draft cycles, NBA and NFL. They probably do it in the NHL and Major League Baseball as well. Those drafts just aren't as popular. But nevertheless, it is one of those situations where I am under the impression him canceling those workouts means he has a promise from Phoenix. We're taking you if you're on the board. I know that sounds jarring to people, but the Suns draft 22. In 2 days, we will find out if the Lakers are selecting at 17 or if it's the Pelicans. But if the Suns are at 22 and the Lakers are at 17, that's where I'm starting to believe we see Bronny come off the board.
As of this moment, to Kevin's point, the LA Lakers do not have a first-round pick. In fact, they only have one draft selection as of this current juncture later in round number 2. So, Kev, the LA Lakers, the Phoenix Suns, the only two teams that have a 3-digit price to draft Bronny James. That is my follow-up question to you. Where ultimately do you think Bronny James lands, and in what round?
I still think it's the Lakers. I'm thinking it's in the first round. Maybe I'm insane. It just feels like the Lakers are going to do everything they believe will make LeBron happy. I fully believe that LeBron is not telling them, hire JJ Redick, draft my son, because then out of his hands. But there has to be an understanding in the room that doing those things will make LeBron happy, because priority number one for that organization is keeping LeBron James a part of that organization. What I think is more fascinating is the Phoenix Suns seem to be the only team who are still under this impression that if you draft Bronny, LeBron joins the team. You know, if you take a look at those that odds group, just those ball clubs right there. Again, if Utah takes Bronny, that has to be Danny Ainge being spiteful. But anybody else drafting Bronny and then thinking LeBron comes with them is absolutely massive, and it would be a huge win for that team. If the Knicks or the Suns or the Cavs or the Sixers added LeBron to their roster, that would, of course, be worth whatever selection they used on Bronny James.
Let's be honest, though. Let's bring up the player card here for Bronny James and what he did in his stellar activities at USC on a horrendous basketball team. Oh. What does, outside of being LeBron James's son, what does he offer? And if somebody tells me defense at 6'1", he is going to get, like, if he goes to the Philadelphia 76ers, there's a playground at 8th and Diamond, a dozen players would cook him left and right on a day-to-day basis. What does he actually add to an NBA roster? What does he add?
Yeah, so again, he has a massive high school pedigree and was a projected lottery pick.
His dad gave it to him.
Would never played
in McDonald's. Wouldn't have played in the McDonald's game if his dad wasn't LeBron.
No, see, and that's what I'm talking about, right? I'm glad
he actually would have been at Duquesne if his dad wasn't LeBron.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm glad at the beginning you pretended to give the actual take and then gave that nonsense. He's about the same size as Avery Bradley, who everybody said was the best defender in the league for half a decade anyway, which again, you're completely unaware of. And at the end of the day, Isaiah Collier, who you're also unaware of, was supposed to be the first overall pick, and because of that awful USC team, might not go in the lottery. But that's okay. That's why I'm here. That's why they woke me up, to help you through this.
And he is away. I'm going to sit back, eat popcorn for the early line next.